I want to share a bit today about why I focus on spiritual practice first before strategy when I work with you to integrate the sacred and strategic in your body of work. There are three primary reasons. Reason number one, you are well versed and well practiced at strategy, and you are not as well versed and well practiced at using spiritual practice for the practicalities of your life and your business. You have spent more than 20 years learning and practicing how to think strategically. You know how to look at your metrics and your market. You know how to assess your team and your systems. You have been trained and coached and encouraged to do this, and you've been good at it. You might have blind spots, but as a skill set, your strategic thinking is well developed and likely over relied upon. It couldn't help but be. We live in a culture that demands it. Spiritual practice and sourcing from your relationship with the sacred is underdeveloped in our culture, and therefore, most likely, underdeveloped in you personally, especially if you, like me and my clients, are trained in a traditional profession and you have been praised and rewarded for the strategic and logical parts of yourself and your work. Your capacity to source from the sacred and to use spiritual practice for the practicalities of your life and your business needs support, encouragement, and development. It will give you access to intelligence, wisdom, and solutions that you don't otherwise have access to, or of which you might get a glimpse, but then quickly ignore. And it can do what you in strategy alone cannot. Yet, it is the skill that you likely haven't fully developed. I mean, how could you? And that you doubt. Because culturally, we have a long history of making spiritual practice suspect. In my experience, this is true particularly with regard to your body of work and your business, even if you have a decades long devoted spiritual practice. And it can be all the more maddening if you have a long, devoted relationship with spiritual practice and it's not creating results like you would expect from strategic decision making because you are not taught how to use your spiritual practice to create both profound transformation and effective practical guidance. And you're not taught what to realistically expect when you do. So we turn to spiritual practice first. Reason number two, your spiritual practice, when used intentionally, will reveal sound strategy. Strategy is not separate from, and it's not set outside of your spiritual practice. It is woven into the body of knowledge and the guidance that you will receive when you engage in your spiritual practice. Just like every other kind of wisdom, experience, and intelligence that you and we collectively hold. When you practice, you access the universal field of potentiality. This is the field from which everything that is manifest arises and to which everything that is manifest returns. And it holds a memory of all that ever was, and all that ever will be. Shaiva Tantra, which is my adopted tradition of spiritual practice, understands this potentiality and this memory to be held in the Akasha, which is space or ether. Akasha is a field that records all that has happened in the universe. Quantum physics understands this potentiality and this memory to be held in the 0 point field, which is a vast, inexhaustible energy source of vibration in the background of what we experience as empty space. And it emits subatomic waves. These subatomic waves encode information in the form of energy, and they are constantly creating a record of this energetic activity. The best synthesis of science and spiritual practice and the best explanation of the mechanics, magic, and the practical application of the practice of mantra, which is the primary spiritual practice I use in working with clients, is the book Sound Medicine by Dr. Kulri Chaudhary. I've used some of her words here to describe the comparison between the Akasha and the zero point field. A link to Sound Medicine, if you're curious, is in the show notes. I highly recommend it. When clients ask, how do you do that? How did you know? This is how. We access this universal field of potentiality when we practice and work together. And I focus my awareness to receive information specifically relevant to them at that moment. When we pinpoint a strategy in this way, you can then implement it where and how it is most effective. And you can let what is irrelevant drop away much, much more easily because you're rooted in the truth and the universality of that truth. Still, if that feels too abstract and too distant to be practical, consider that on a personal level, all of the strategy you need is likely already in you. And if there are aspects of it that you need that you cannot draw from your current experience, you will be nudged to seek those out. You'll have a sense, an intuition, a desire, a curiosity to seek them out because you've already done all this strategic work. You've already cultivated and honed that skill set. You will not suddenly forget that or fail to use it because you're now engaging in spiritual practice as a process of decision making. No, rather, you will put strategy in its right place and you will gain clarity about its best use rather than simply reach for it as a default in every instance. And you will clear the way for your work to arise internally and organically in a way that you can receive and recognize. You will root into what's true, which will eliminate the shoulds and allow you to follow the natural form, timing, and rhythm of the work that wants to come through you, rather than jumping to strategizing first and bypassing the right form and the right timing of your work. Your spiritual practice, when used intentionally and effectively, will give rise to possibilities that you cannot imagine and outcomes beyond what you can fathom or create through strategy alone, which is exciting and what you want because most strategies are based upon and intended for existing structures, systems, and models. They are a strategy to position and navigate within those structures, models, and systems, not to create outside of them. You and the work that wants to come through you have reached the limits of those structures, models, and systems. They likely do not provide the right process, the right form, or the right support for your work to emerge and evolve, let alone thrive. You need to find a different way. And to find that different way, you need to source from something outside of existing structures, models, and systems. Spiritual practice allows you to do that without eliminating sound strategy where it is useful. Reason number 3, you know what the work is that wants to come through you, but something is keeping you from seeing it clearly and developing it fully. In my experience working with clients, I've overwhelmingly witnessed that you know what the work is that wants to come through you. You know how your interests, training, and experience and expertise all come together. You know how you most fully show up in it. You know who you want to work with and how you want to work with them. Your soul, your work, and your business each holds its own divine pattern of unfolding. It knows exactly what it is, what it needs, and where it's going. And you can sense that, even if you cannot fully see or articulate it right now. something is hiding it from you, or something is keeping you from fully embracing and expressing it. Clients have described this feeling like a veil is between them and the full expression of their work. They can almost see it, they can almost reach out and touch it, but something that they cannot grasp or name is in the way. And this, most often, is not something you can identify and resolve through strategy. If you could, you would have. Rather, it requires another skill set, a decidedly spiritual skill set of listening and letting go, so that the work that wants to come through you can show itself to you, and so that it can ripen, and so that you can grow into the woman who can hold and steward it by trusting your own wisdom and the coherency of the work above the purported wisdom of existing systems, structures, and models. If you are like me and my clients, that kind of letting go is likely the most difficult thing of all, because you are highly practiced and highly comfortable in the doing. You likely know yourself and your own agency this way. You understand it to be how you get things done. And more significantly and mistakenly, you understand it to be what gets results. There is nothing wrong with this. Your mind, your competency, your willingness to take responsibility and action are beautiful, powerful things. But you are likely uncomfortable in the not doing, in this quiet, still space of seeming nothingness that is actually necessary to that germative and generative in between. And that is what seeing the shape of the work that wants to come through you and committing to it is requiring of you. Spiritual practice gets at this. It will reveal the internal coherence and structure of the work that wants to come through you. It will untangle what's in the way of you seeing and developing it clearly and fully. And it will cultivate your capacity to be in the not doing that allows you to do this. Strategy is not going to get you that. No one tells you this, that spiritual practice garners strategy as well as intuitive guidance and energetic shifts. And no one teaches you how to do this, to pull the thread of continuity between spiritual practice and strategy, and to use each intentionally for its particular strength and purpose. But it is a skill set that I propose the work that wants to come through you is requiring of you for its integrity, its depth, and its power. I invite you to join me for a conversation about what else no one tells you about, weaving together all of your talent, training, and experience into a cogent body of work and an effective business model, integrating sacred practice and sound business strategy, creating holistic change in traditional professions, stepping into your natural capacity to lead, and untangling the one thing at the root of what distracts and derails you from it. You will have a chance to share what no one told you and you wish that they had. And I will share from my own experience and my work with clients. I will also share practices to navigate the strange, the unexpected, the tricky, and the surprising, but universal things that come up, because they will come up. We'll be live on Zoom December 17th at 3:30 Eastern. Come as you are, nothing's being sold, and it will be recorded. If you happen to be listening after December 17, you can opt in still to receive the recording immediately. Again, it's free, all are welcome. There are links in the show notes. Click there, and I'll see you then.